system in the aircraft. All briefing based on the book given by Mr. Banerjee. It had a photograph of Mr. Gayoom in the book, their president, and it was passed from soldier to soldier of the president's rescue team because they should recognize the man they were looking for.
Yes.
We now have to come to security, air traffic control, and the actual landing. But gentlemen, before that, let us move on to a couple of other operations. The famous Bofors artillery piece, which has been used, whose name has gone for many wrong things, is the most superb piece of artillery. Most of you have seen it in action during Kargil when NDTV brought the war into our bedrooms. The gun has a range of about 27 kilometers in the plains. At 18,000 feet in the rarefied atmosphere, the shell can go up to 36 kilometers.
You can show that one, sir, that item.
I don't have this write-up on this. This is just, I'm telling...
the photo can be shown.
I will show you the photograph of the Bofors coming into the air.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I will tell you. So, you need an observer who will see the shell falling. I will never have photographs of this, only the artillery people will have. We flew 8 flights from Chandigarh to Thois to take the Bofors into that airfield in support of the Siachen battle. We carried the guns, their Scania trucks, all their other ancillary equipment. In 4 continuous days, we did 2 sorties every day. Here is a Bofors gun driving by itself into the IL-76. It has its own prime mover, that is the gunner, and this is then Major Buttar, now Brigadier Buttar retired, who was the battery commander of this battery of Bofors. Okay.
How many Bofors can be loaded in IL-76, sir?
We carried 2 guns and its Scania truck with its ammunition in 1 aircraft.
Okay.
Here is the Bofors fully loaded inside the IL-76.
Yes, sir.
This is the barrel.
Sir.
And as you can imagine, you cannot put any load on this.
Yes, sir.
Behind this will come the second Bofors, but its barrel will be pointing backwards.
Okay.
That is how we can accommodate more than 1 gun.
What are the likely weights, sir?
Each Bofors will be only about 11 to 12 tons.
Okay.
So, but the AN-12 IL-76 can carry 43 tons.
Yes, sir.
It is the space which
Yes,
is the
space
restricting factor. Okay. Now, to do this exercise, we would take off from Chandigarh before sunrise and go to Thois because we had to land in Thois when the temperature was below 15 degrees centigrade. This was summer. Because if it was more, then the power which is developed by the engines of the IL-76 starts decreasing, and we wanted adequate dum in our engine.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how we went there. Now the next pertinent question is, by where is Thois? We have never seen Thois. Gentlemen, here is a photograph of Thois. The runway is east-west. This is the Shok River flowing westwards. It will join the Indus somewhere inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. You are looking at Thois from the north. The mountain to the south is in the shade. The mountain to the north is lit up by the sun.
Okay.
This is what Thois looks like if you were to be flying above it. Here is a photograph of an AN-32 and an IL-76 parked at Thois.
Okay.
The high mountains here indicate to you Thois is about 9,300 feet, but these peaks are more than 22,000 feet.
Okay.
This is what the mountains make you feel like an insignificant creature when you go to Thois.
Okay.
Next photograph, gentlemen, is the Bofors gun just after it has come out of the IL-76.
Okay.
That is Major Buttar, and they will now go to the bottom of the glacier. And the next photograph shows you a Bofors gun fully deployed in support of the Siachen battle.
Okay, sir. Okay, great.
So this is how it looks like.
Sir.
You saw how here there was no snow, and here there is snow because he's already reached 15,000 feet.
Okay.
Right. Next, many of you will remember the unhappy saga of the Indian peacekeeping force in Sri Lanka. We lost nearly 1,200 people in that war, which was not our war at all. And to show you how true it is, have a look It is the Sri Lankans who have made a memorial to the Indian peacekeeping force. Can you beat it? The government of India has not made a memorial for those of our Indians who died.
Where was it built, sir?
It is built in Colombo.
Oh, capital city.
It is not where we have not made a memorial in India. If you remember, when the Indian peacekeeping force came back in 1990,
Sir.
the government and they came back to Chennai, but no one from the Tamil Nadu government came to receive them because we had been fighting the LTTE who are Tamils. But the people who died there were also Tamils and Gujaratis and Bengalis and Pahadis and Kumaunis and Gurkhas and Marathas. This is how we have treated our own people.
Oh, brothers.
Anyway, the next operation which I want to talk about is taking tanks into Leh. We have all heard about the Eastern Ladakh, the standoff against the Chinese, how to tackle them with our tanks and everything. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is a T-72 tank loaded inside an IL-76, right? The tank has a 400-liter barrel strapped onto it at the back. It has a 3-man crew and it has the first line ammunition inside. It weighs 43 tons, all
My
this.
God, so such a 43 tons.
43 tons means 43,000 kilograms.
My God, so heavy.
After this, you cannot take anything inside the IL-76.
So heavy.
It is because that is the maximum load
Sir.
that it can take. Okay.
Quite fascinating.
Next is a photograph of an IL-76 arriving in Leh to land this tank.
Okay.
And behind on the mountain, the Indian Air Force has written its motto on the mountainside, touch the sky with glory.
Yes, sir.
This is how we have brought the tanks into Leh, where in 4 days they will be able to go under their own power across the Changla Pass all the way to Daulat Beg Oldi next to the Pangong Tso Lake.
Okay.
Okay, you can see everything is bare. Nothing grows here.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Here is another photograph of 7 IL-76s at Leh.
My God.
It was one of these operations where 44th Squadron flew 7 IL-76s at Leh. A very rare photograph.
Okay.
Now, if you have 300 troops in each IL-76, in 35 minutes from Chandigarh to Leh, you can bring 2,100 soldiers.
Okay.
This is the rapidity with which the Indian Air Force can
handle.
move troops from one theater to another theater. Okay. Next is, you can see the high mountains in the background. Here is a photograph of the river Indus flowing westwards towards Kargil.
Okay.
On the left is coming the river Zanskar, joining it at Nemo.
Is it in Indian territory, sir, or Pakistan?
Very much, very much. This is the Indus. This is the road from Kargil on the
Okay.
left side.
Okay, okay.
This is the river going about
Right.
60, 70 kilometers from here is where the Battle of Kargil took place.
Okay.
And you can see nothing grows.
Sir,
That is why everything at 10,000 feet, it is a desert.
sir.
Whereas if you go to Badrinath, which is also at 10,000 feet, everything grows there.
Okay.
That's why there is no oxygen problem at Badrinath.
What could be the difference between the two places?
Vegetation, the land itself.
Okay.
Though Indus is here and Alaknanda is there, but that land in Uttarakhand grows trees and everything, but in Ladakh it does not.
Okay.
That's why there is a problem of oxygen.
Okay.
Here is an IL-76 taking off from Leh. The mountains at the back will show you that this is not Chandigarh or Agra or Palam. This is Leh.
Leh.
Right. We have finished with the other two operations.
Right.
The idea being to tell you how swiftly the Air Force can move forces from east to west, north to south.
Great, sir. Really great.
Now, let us get back to Operation Cactus.
Sir.
Everybody watches Doordarshan and listen to Akashvani in November 88. There was no cable, no direct to home, something we are so used to today. So many
Yeah.
people in Agra must have heard about the coup in Maldives and that India will help Maldives. Add to this a long line of troops from Agra cantonment coming towards the airfield. Imagine today if such a thing happened in Hyderabad cantonment, Pune cantonment, Bangalore cantonment. There will be thousands of mobile cameras transmitting live that these troops are moving. How to keep security under today's environment, that is the challenge for us. Okay? Recall now, at about 1700 hours, gentlemen, I got a phone call from Allahabad, where I got a code word which will be transmitted by the ATC in Malé, confirming that the runway is still under our control and it is safe to land. So anyway, now what happened was that at about 5:30, I had got this code word. So we, having got airborne, we decided that there are going to be 2 aircraft which will be flying to Malé. Okay. Gil was going to be the captain of the other aircraft, and he would maintain his distance of 1 kilometer behind me. Okay. So now, how did Gil maintain his position? He saw us on his weather radar, and we kept him in sight on our tail gunner's radar. So we knew each other only by a blip. Gil kept his navigation lights off, and as far as the ATC was concerned, one aeroplane, my aircraft, was flying from Agra to Trivandrum on a routine flight. That is what we told the air traffic control. Now, as we were going, we reached 31, 33, 35,000 feet. Brigadier Balsara and Brigadier Joshi, Colonel Joshi, did all their discussions. And after Bangalore, I turned westwards towards Trivandrum. And as I came close to Trivandrum at about 80 kilometers, Trivandrum gave me a hukum that now start descending. So you start descending. Now, I did not want to descend. I had no intention of landing there. So what did I do? What could I do? So I thought of asking for Group Captain Panikkar, the Air 2 of Southern Air Command, who I knew was posted there. So I asked the ATC, is Group Captain Panikkar there? He said, yes. So I said, please put him on the RT. Now, Panikkar and I had served together in Iraq. Yeah. So we both had learnt a certain amount of Arabic. I spoke to him in Arabic and I said, I want to go. He said, go. Now, what exactly he told in Malayalam to that ATC officer and told him to shut up and not ask questions, I don't know. But Panikkar sorted out the problem.
Okay.
Because basically what had happened was that, so yes, this is to let people know that this is how we maintain separation when you are flying.
Sir.
Anything which is flying southwards will fly at 15, 17, 19, 21,000 feet. Anything flying north will fly at 16.
Odd and even numbers, sir. Yes.
Odd and even numbers.
Yes, sir.
And if 2 aeroplanes are going at the same level in the same direction, sir, they maintain a 15-minute gap. Finally, okay, we are now coming to the arrival at Hulule. Sir. At about 21:25, I contacted Hulule on ATC. I gave myself a call sign friendly 1. So I pressed the button and I said, this is friendly 1. He said, go ahead. I said, do you have any message for me? He said, Hadiya, Hadiya, Hadiya. And it was said very, very fast, lot of relief. He had given me the correct code word. Gentlemen, I was committed to land. Somewhere when I was about 20-25 kilometers away, we have a computer in our aircraft, which we can, we know the distance to go. He put on the runway lights for about 5 to 7 seconds and then switch them off. That gave me an idea as to where the runway was.
Okay.
Now, all of you have flown in civil aeroplanes at night. So when you come in for landing, both the pilot and the passengers can see the lights on the ground.
Yes, sir.
So you can make out you can make out what is ground.
Very easily can make out. Yes, sir.
You can make out. But here over the Indian Ocean, I had no reference. There was no lights on the Indian Ocean. Where will they be? So there was no reference at all. Remember, Diwali was 9th of November. Moonrise was at 0145 hours at that place.
Okay.
So at 9:25, it was pitch black. Okay. Not one ground reference as I was descending. So I kept descending using the radar altimeter, and somewhere at approximately 200 meters above the ground, I had to see where the runway was. Where do I land? So I put on the landing lights of the aeroplane and pressed the button and said lights. They came on.
Okay.
I adjusted. Aircraft was pretty heavy, 150 tons. I adjusted and we touched down. The moment we touched down and the wheels touched the concrete, this ATC chap switched off the runway lights.
Okay.
This was most unexpected. So we used reverse, sat on brakes, and when the aeroplane came to a full stop, I could see 3 to 4 blocks of the tarmac ahead of me.
Okay.
That was how close I was to the end of the runway.
But you finally made it, sir. Despite all the challenges, you made it.
We
Really great.
stopped
Really
in
great.
time. Now, Kilo 2999, Wing Commander Gill, who had been formating with me for 4 hours, was now orbiting at 2,000 feet north of the runway, waiting for further instructions.
Okay.
Gentlemen, it is time to have a look at the runway
Yes,
as it was on
Yes, sir.
3rd November 1988. You're
Sir.
looking at it from the eastern side.
Okay.
Now, this is the ATCs here. This is where I parked. Bill parked behind me. You are now going to see the runway in the direction in which we landed. The runway alignment is north-south. Runway 18 and 36. Here it is. This is all that there is, 6,200 feet on 3rd November 88. The rest of it is what our geography books say is Hind Mahasagar. This coloring of the water shows you that there is very shallow coral here. Those of you who have been to Maldives.
So, really beautiful, sir. I was fortunate to go there and see the beauty, natural beauty of all the archipelagos and pristine waters, sports.
Correct. So this is what happened.
Sir.
Now, this is how we arrived. So phase 1 of Operation Cactus was over.
How many aircraft landed, sir?
I'm just coming to that.
Right.
Now, let us see. Now the offloading.
Deplaning.
Now, we did not get any report of any firing, etc. So I told Gill to come and land. Now the troops, the paratroopers, had been told by Colonel Joshi to cross the runway and take up position on the eastern side.
Sir.
They were crossing the runway when Gill was landing. After he parked behind me, he thought he must have killed some paratroopers. But when he parked behind me, he came and said, "Sir, this is what I think I have done." Fortunately, it did not happen.
Great, sir.
All the troops took position, and in 30 minutes, we were both taxiing out to head for Trivandrum. This, gentlemen, is an absolute example of rapid deployment. Within 30 minutes, we had put 4,400 paratroopers on the ground. Have a look now at the runway as it is today. It is now 2,840 meters, nearly 9,000 feet. From here to here is only 550 meters. Where will the paratroopers land? And this shallowness shows you, this color shows you that it is very shallow.
Very shallow, yes, sir.
Paratroopers, if they had landed on the coral, they would have been cut to ribbons.
Yes, sir.
And so many of them would have drowned with their 40-50 kgs of weight.
Yes, sir.
And as it was told in Army headquarters, at least 60%, if not more, would have gone into the water.
My God.
Okay. Let us see the progress of ground operations. The ATC and the jetty was secured we had landed at 21:48. By 22:10, the ATC and jetty had been secured.
So jetty is the place from where it's like a taxi stand, from where people move out of that runway towards
that is where it is.
Maldives. Yes, towards Malé.
You can see the island of Malé here.
Yes,
both sides of the runway were secured thereafter. The eastern side and the western side. Runway is north-south. At midnight, President's rescue team with Colonel Joshi set course from the jetty to go to the western face. They had a guide with them. They went to the western face of the island of Malé because that is where there was open ground. You will see that slide once again. There it is. The western face.
We can see. Yes, sir. There is a space.
So this is where they established their beachhead. Runway is there. This is the western face of the runway. So this is how they went. By about 0230, they had secured the president, and there was a funny problem because the National Security Services were not sure whether the rebels were coming or the
Indian forces coming.
So the only way they could find out was they saw two Sardarjis. When they saw these two soldiers, that was Major Dhillon and one more soldier with him, when they saw them with turbans, they realized that these are not rebels. These are Indian soldiers who have come to rescue.
So it means there is absolutely no communication, sir, between them and us.
Absolutely none. There was a guide who was taking us to them.
Okay.
There was no telephonic conversation, no. There were mobiles, Baba, in November
Acha,
1990.
88. No, it's only 90s. Okay.
There was nothing there.
Okay.
And Mr. Gayoom was taken to the National Security Service headquarters, and there he spoke with Rajiv Gandhi
Okay.
at 4:30 in the morning to say thank you very much.
So
About-
was there any exchange of fire between the mercenaries and our Indian troops?
Yes, there was a lot of exchange of fires. 30 of them were caught
Okay.
with a lot of arms and ammunition.
Sir.
About 60 rebels escaped on a ship, and they took Maldive hostages with them.
Okay.
That is how INS Godavari and Betwa went and stopped that ship. They took
Okay.
all the hostages and rebels on board and
Okay.
sank that ship. Now, let's have a look at the arms and ammunition which were captured by the paratroopers. Very lethal stuff. Very, very lethal stuff.
Lethal, okay.
You will get a close-up of this and have a look as to what. See, we Air Force people, we are not used to all this ammunition and all
Okay.
this weaponry.
Sir.
That is a rocket-propelled grenade.
My God.
That's the grenade, and this is the rocket. Even the terrorists in Kashmir use this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We often
And
see in
these-
TVs also.
Yes, and this is the original model of the AK-47, the
That
Kalashnikov.
they were having by then itself.
They already had.
Okay.
Okay, right. Gentlemen, no presentation is complete without reasons for success. Maldives had approached India with great hope and faith. And why is it that we succeeded? Good, tough training,
Yes, sir. Undoubtedly.
anticipation and preparation.
Yes, sir.
Initiative at all levels, at the
Yes, sir.
officer level, at the JCO level, at the NCO level.
Yeah, amazing
Look at
initiative. Yes,
this
sir.
one thing that our chief engineering officer, then group captain, later Air Marshal Guru Rani did.
Okay.
I don't know how, but between 4:30 and 5:30, Air Marshal Guru Rani refueled 3 IL-76s with 62 tons of fuel. It was the first miracle. It happened in Agra.
Okay.
Hats off to that man. He just came and asked me, how much do you want? I don't know where he got the MTDs, where he got the Bowsers, but he
So
did.
tremendous efforts.
Tremendous. I will never know how Air Marshal Guru Rani did it.
Oh.
Initiative of the chief engineering officer and
Right.
his men and his MTDs and all those people from the refueling section. Coordination between the army and the Air Force at Agra. Speed in execution.
Within one day, I think not even 24 hours.
Not even. We got our first phone call the first phone call from Maldives
7:30.
came at 7 o'clock to India.
So yeah,
At
by
4:30.
4:30 everything was over.
4:30, the coup had, because their target was the president, but we
Ah.
had already secured the president. So the coup had been defeated by 7 o'clock in the morning. By
Okay.
24 hours, rebels were under our custody. President Gayoom was safe.
I think it may be the first of its kind going into the foreign land with lot of swiftness in action and very effective in
You
controlling
are
the things.
absolutely right. Mr. Rao, you are right. This is the first Indian operation carried out on a request under secrecy.
That's what we were all in Air Force by then, but we never
Yes.
knew about this. We never
All
knew.
of you were serving at that time.
Yes, sir, we were serving, but we did not know all about it.
And not one, and complete air traffic control in India had no idea. Thereafter, when aircraft number 3, 4, and 5 went, they went also, all of them went Agra to Trivandrum.
Okay.
No one wrote on paper that I am going to Male. Because if you are going from Agra to Male, Delhi will say land at Palam for customs.
Okay.
Customs will look at
So
paratroopers.
totally a
or-
secret operation.
So they went for Trivandrum, overhead Trivandrum, they just pressed on.
Okay.
And finally, the bold decisions which were taken.
Amazing efforts by all the three services, sir.
Exactly.
And
This is
particularly
how-
Air Force operations led by you. Hats up to you, sir. for
No,
your,
no, it's the Indian Air Force. Here is an IL-76 coming in to land at Agra at sunset.
sunset time. Beautiful,
In-
beautiful.
In conclusion, gentlemen, the Para Brigade and 44th Squadron conducted India's first ever strategic intervention with absolute dazzling success. It was because of quick responses, very good training, and a huge amount of good luck.
The
Huge
planning,
amount of good luck.
meticulous planning and execution also, sir.
Yes. The lack of bloodshed and casualties to own forces gives the impression that the operation was nothing much to write about. Some people say, "Yaar, koi mara hi nahi hai." पता क्या हुआ? But do remember that such operations are either stunning successes
Yeah, it's
or
really
complete
success.